Good morning, YouTube land. The weather is pretty wild out there, as always at this time of year, isn't it? I do like to talk about the weather a little bit, just a little bit, but I'm sure it's amazing where you are. Lots of stuff going on. Well, what are we doing on this video? Well, as we're coming up, I'm getting up, I'm finishing jobs up to Christmas, and I've got to make a radiator cover. So that's a nice little job. I haven't made one for a long time. But it's nice to do that. So that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to make a nice radiator cover, only a little small one, but a little perfectly formed, like lots of the things we love. Where am I going with this? My brain goes weird places, doesn't it? So we're going to do that. We're going to make a nice radiator cover, and we're going to see how we get on with that. So enjoy. Right, I've just cut all the components. I'm just sort of laying them out so you can start to see the front of the radiator cover. They've all got to be tenoned, and you can see they're going to be tenoned and mortised. Tenoned and tenoned, and you can see I've just sort of set that out. Nice little neat, so I sort of know where I'm going. Got the components and I can actually start making it. So you can see what's going on there. I didn't show the cutting of components. I mean, we can do that lots of times, cutting square, but that's what we're going to do. And now we're going to actually do the tenoning part to actually make up the components so we can make the front, because a radiator cover is all about the front, isn't it? So we'll do that. So it's quite a nice little thing. You can see it laid out, the components there. There we have it. The most crucial part of when you're measuring a radiator is the internal measurements to make sure your radiator cover fits. So you've got to know what your internal, so that is the size of your radiator, and plus the thermostat controls and everything and whatever is going to go inside. So that is the internal measurements, and then you measure everything out for the external, the front. So how big the front is going to be, so it can wrap itself round. I know it says obvious, but it's an easy mistake to make when you measure it, and then when you actually come to make a radiator cover, you actually make it to exactly that dimension, but you forget that the sides are like 20 mil, so you're adding 40 mil it going inside, and then you go boom and it doesn't fit. So could be a rookie mistake, but it's important that when you're making radiator covers, you measure the internal measurement, and then you add your sides and everything go beyond that, so for the overall size. So that's the crucial measurements that you need, the internal and the height as well, so that it can sit over, allowing for your top to still sit over. So that's crucial. So we just marked out for all the mortises, cut the tenons. There they are, it's the tenons, they're going to go in there. So somewhere with me shaky hands, they're going to go in there with me wobbling around. Wobbly tenons or wobbly mortises. There you go, we're going to cut them in, we're going to get them in. There we go. Just dry fitting, they'll come up nicely. That's looking pretty good. Just dry fitting it on the bench. The front of a radiator cover. Let me just stand back a little bit. There we go, we're just dry fitting at the minute. Nice and tight. Yeah, that's going to clamp up and glue up lovely. That's what you call a nice tight fit. It's just a dry fit at the minute, but look at that. Almost doesn't need gluing, does it? I am going to glue it up. I'm going to take it apart and glue it up. I've got to cut the other bits. But, yeah. There's always different ways to make a nice joint. And I've done it that way as well for many years, so... Annoying at me pillar drill, the belt has broke, because that'd be absolutely precise, but it gets pretty precise using that method that I've just showed you. Just creating a block and a stop. Yeah, just have to be precise enough with the right drill bit. Right, we'll get on with the next bit. Just a dry fit at the minute. That's nice. It's hanging. Look at that. No glue, nothing. Just joints. And it's nice and... look at that. How good is that? Yeah, nice and square. No twist in it or anything. Perfect. That's the front. So, got the front of a radiator cover coming together nicely. So before I glue up, take it apart to glue it, I've just marked it up. So when I take it apart, I know where they all go. A, B, C, D, E, F. There you go. I know my alphabet. Well, I know how to do F, don't I? In fact, I'm a musician as well, so I know up to G as well, actually. An octave. The 8 notes. A to G. And all the sharps and flats. And everything else in there. Diminish and all sorts of interesting and wonderful combinations. Anyway. Didn't think I'd get a bit of musical music theory into some woodworking, but there you go. There we go, nicely glued up. Now we just leave it. Just leave it to set. So it's gluing up. The important thing when you're gluing is clean off most of your excess glue. Left a bit makes cleaning up a lot easier. So clean off most of your excess glue, and then you won't have as much of a problem. Anyway, that's the gluing the front of a radiator cover. So I've just made a little mark for where I'm going to router a nice groove all the way down there to there, and you can see it there corresponding on the other side. So we're going to do just a nice little router piece, at least nice little feature. The router bit I'm using, a 1/4 inch. It's going in my new Trend T4, which you can go and check out a video when I review it. My old one is down under the back there somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so we're going to put that in, and that's the profile that I'm going to use to make the groove. So here we have the front grille of the radiator cover. Just nice and straightforward, isn't it? Nice little mould, little feature there, groove up each side, and the front, bottom and top. The sides and the top have yet to be made, but I'm going to, once I've got to the actual radiator, then I'm going to make them around so that I can fit them around and make sure you can access all the various bits and pieces of a radiator. There we go. So carrying on with the oh, it came in just as I was starting to film. So carrying on with the radiator cover, it's both on site and in the workshop, this one, as you'll see, and it also bleeds over into another video, which is a boxing in. It's all part of the same job, but this is the actual radiator cover aspect of it, which I thought would be really interesting to do as a video. So we're just cutting the sides. So where I've been on the job yesterday actually fixing it and then situating it, I only made the front because I didn't want to make the sides and the top because I knew it needed to be really precise. So now I can do the precise measurement of the front, of the overall dimensions, so it will fit really snug. That's the idea. That's what I'm doing. So so we're just cutting the side pieces. So that's the next piece. So when biscuiting, when you're doing the return hole, you need to get in the right place, don't you? So just mark the centre. There you go, mark the centres, which are then corresponding with that. So then I can see it on the marker on the biscuit jointer. I can see that's the centre of the hole there. Then I get it in the right place. In theory. Ha! Right, just check in and make sure they line up. Do a dry fit first, put some biscuits in. These aren't nice biscuits. Go with your tea, I mean. Yeah, that's a bad joke. Right, checking it. Looking good. As you can see down the line there, that fits all the lines perfectly. So that's good. So I can do the other side. So I can do that. Good. Nice new tub of Type Bond. I've got all sorts of glues in here. So I'm not exclusive, but if I'm doing actually, I want to be really, really strong. Type Bond is probably the best. Here I am talking about glue now in the middle of doing a thing. Anyway, nice new one I've ordered. I've run out of the others. This is for my gluing, my little glue pot. I also have Gorilla Glue. So other brands are in here, but yeah, nice bit of glue. So this will last me a little while, which is good. It's nice to have glue at the right consistency. When I was gluing up over Christmas, or in, yeah, it was Christmas? Yeah, the glue, my glue pot, it was half frozen. It was so cold in here. Got me heater on. I got me little radiator over there. Oh, yeah, there it is. Look at that. Yeah, we go, me pointing. I do that occasionally on a video. My little oil-filled rad just to keep me warm. Although I've got the door open, haven't I? So I like the fresh air. Yeah, I'm working on that, which is be another video. I'm making a nice cabin bed, which is in progress. So I was gluing that up and gluing the components up, the headboards, and doing all the joints, the big mortise and tenon joints. So it was quite a big glue up. Yeah, the glue, it was like, oh, it's horrible. It was all lumpy, and it was, now it's perfect. Temperature's warm again, isn't it? Anyway. So there is the finished radiator cover. Nicely sitting in. It's loose because obviously you need to, there's still some more work which I'm going to be coming back to do here, which may be in a future video, but for now that's the radiator cover made, which is going to be painted by the customer. It's loose for those of you saying, well, you can't get to the thermostat. Yes you can, because you just pull it out, so it's freestanding. Now you could fix it, put some little fixings on the wall, which you have to do it outside fixings, so you can, if you're going to fix a radiator cover. But that's nice, you can just pull it out, adjust the bleed your radiator, do what you need to do, and it sits. It's freestanding. It's a nice piece of furniture. You've watched the build. It's nice and snug. If you want a radiator cover, there you go. It's got the nice feature down the sides. And as you can see, this customer is doing a lot of decorating, so it's all part of an ongoing job here. But that's the radiator cover. So that's a nice simple radiator build. There you go. Thanks for watching. Click the like button if you're watching the video, because it helps YouTube understand that you like this, and YouTube promote it more by if they see that videos are getting liked. So it really is appreciated, the liking. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Massively appreciated. That is a radiator cover. Straightforward. Maybe you could build one. You've seen as bits of how it's done, so who knows? And maybe there'll be some more radiator cover builds on this channel. Who knows? There's all sorts, isn't there? As we know. So from me, Mark, at the Small Workshop Adventures, take care everybody. Bye.